I'm the Scrub and you're here for one reason. Deep within the lush jungle forest on the northern part of Heritage Found, there was a place that was ravaged by a furious beast. Wonder what that is? Maybe some kind of Tural Vidral? Anyway, Zorolja himself led the charge to subdue the beast. The things you'll do for a booty call, am I right guys? Well, at least we'll help this little recovering alcoholic and find out what became of his mother. Time to learn about Yuweyawata Field Station. Simplified. If you're using the duty support system, I'd recommend single pulling this dungeon. Head up the path and grab the first group of enemies. Continue to the next group just in front of the fallen tree trunk. Watch out for all of the AoEs from these enemies and dodge them as best you can. Group up and kill everything. When everything has been defeated, a surge of electricity will destroy the tree trunk and allow you to continue. Pull the next two groups of enemies to the next tree trunk. Again, watch out for all of the AoEs and kill everything. When everything has been defeated, the tree trunk will be destroyed, you can head up the path, and it's first boss time. Electrical Overload is a room-wide AoE. The Zagnal will move to one of the intercardinal points of the arena, face the wall, and get an electric glow while casting Gore. When this cast finishes, it will jam its horns into the outside wall and cause the crystal to begin to glow. It will then have a long cast of Kabatos. While this is happening, from the point at the bottom of the crystal will be several narrow straight line AoEs with a few safe spots between them. There will be 3 sets of these narrow straight line AoEs, and each set will always run through a previous safe zone, so you'll need to dodge between each set of the AoEs as they appear. Getting hit by any of these will give you a Vuln stack. After the third set goes off, there will be an arc of pulsing yellow arrows that will finish on a small glowing circle on the ground. You'll need to get far away from this glowing circle, as when the cast of Kabatos ends, the crystal will be thrown in the air and land on the small glowing circle in a large AoE. Getting hit by this large AoE will give you a Vuln stack. When the crystal lands, it will send out many thick and narrow straight line AoEs around the arena. You'll just need to dodge around them as best you can. While these are happening, the Zagnal will cast Lightning Storm and give everyone a point blank electric AoE. These will go off after the AoEs have stopped and the crystal has disintegrated, so everyone will need to spread out to avoid overlapping these. The Zagnal will then move to the north end of the arena and cast Gore again. This time it will jam its horns into the ground and begin charging underneath the floor. It will send out a room-wide AoE called Sparking Fissure. When this happens, there will be words on the screen and in the chat that say Electrope emerges from the ground. 2 raw Electrope will rise from the ground and become targetable. These Electrope will start casting Electrify and have a bar appear above them, which will show the amount of charge that they gather. You'll need to destroy the Electrope before the bar completely fills up. Failing to destroy the Electrope will give you a Vuln stack and a magic Vuln up. And if you let 2 of them explode at the same time, you'll be immediately vaporized. The Electrope don't have a lot of health, so they should be able to be destroyed quickly. There will be 3 room-wide AoEs that will each spawn a new pair of Electrope, so eliminate the Electrope before their charge fills. While this mechanic is going on, there will also be circular AoEs at random points around the arena. You'll need to dodge them to avoid them. Getting hit by any of these will give you a Vuln stack. When all of the Electrope have been eliminated, the Zagnal will cast 1 more room-wide AoE of Sparking Fissure and return the arena to normal. The Zagnal will then repeat mechanics without the raw Electrope mechanic until it has been defeated. Head up both sets of stairs and enter the facility. Turn left and 3 hounds will run through the door and become targetable. Pick them up and turn right to go through the door. As you enter the following room, the researchers will wake up and become targetable. Group everything up and AoE them down. When everything has been defeated, the door will open. Head through the door and turn right. When you reach the end of the corridor, there will be enemies that will come out of the open door on the far left. Pick up these enemies and head through that door. When you reach about halfway up the next corridor, more enemies will come out of the side rooms. Watch out for all of the AoEs from the giant coursers, group everything up and nuke it all down. When everything has been defeated, the door at the end of the corridor will open and it's second boss time. Dark Souls is a dark fantasy action role-playing game series developed by FromSoft. Dark Souls is a tank buster. The Overseer will move into the middle of the room and cast Free Spirits. This will create a red puddle of souls around the outside wall of the arena. Touching this wall will give you a heavy debuff along with a damage down and a bleeding dot tick. After the wall is created, there will be several narrow arcing AoEs around the arena. You'll need to dodge these AoEs as best you can. There will be 8 sets of these AoEs and they will go off one after the other. Getting hit by any of these will give you a Vuln stack. When the last arcs go off, the Overseer will cast Phantom Flood. This is a large donut AoE with the only safe zone being underneath the boss. This AoE will also cause the red puddle to expand and cover the rest of the arena. The cast of Dark 2 will be 6 conal AoEs with a safe zone between each one. As the first ones are about to go off, there will be another set of 6 conal AoEs in the first safe zones. Just wait for the first set of AoEs to go off before moving into them to dodge the second set of AoEs. Getting hit by any of these AoEs will give you a Vuln stack. As these go off, all non-tank players will get a point blank AoE. All players can wait on each of the cardinal points and you'll be able to be safe and avoid overlapping these AoEs. Following this will be the cast of Lost Hope. The Overseer will become untargetable and everyone will get the debuff of Temporary Misdirection. A spinning pointer will appear above your head. head. Whenever you move with this debuff, instead of moving in the direction you want to go, you'll move in the direction of whichever way the finger is pointing above your head. Every time you move, the finger will freeze and lock in place until you stop moving, where it will continue spinning again. The Overseer will cast Necro Hazard and create a proximity marker in the middle of the arena. At the same time as this, there will be a number of paths that will open up within the Puddle of Souls in a zigzag pattern all the way to the outside wall. You'll need to use your pointed finger to navigate your way from the middle of the arena as far to the outside wall as possible without touching the red Puddle of Souls. This can be a bit tricky, but you'll just need to time your movement with the spinning finger as best you can. I like to maneuver my camera to be looking in the direction I want to travel. I'll then wait for the finger to be pointing in the direction I'm facing to move. There will be plenty of time to reposition the camera for each bend as you move along the path. As soon as you reach the outside wall, just stop moving and wait for the mechanic to finish. If you don't make it far enough to the outside wall, the damage might be enough to instantly kill you. When the proximity marker goes off, the arena will return to normal and the Overseer will become targetable again. Bloodburst is a room-wide AoE. Overseer will move back into the middle of the room and repeat Free Spirits, except there will be point-blank AoEs on pairs of players as the mechanic is going off. Just dodge around the arcing AoEs and avoid overlapping the point-blank AoEs as best you can. Dark 2 will also repeat with 2 sets of conal AoEs, but as these are going off, one player will get a stack marker. Everyone will need to dodge between the conal AoEs and group up to share the damage. From here, mechanics will repeat until the Overseer has been defeated. Head up the ramp and the next door will open, where you will exit the facility. Follow the path and pick up the next 2 groups of mobs until you reach the boulder blocking your path. Group everything up, avoid all of the AoEs as best you can, and kill everything. When everything has been defeated, the boulder will be broken. Continue up the path, pulling the next 2 packs to the next boulder blocking your way. Group it all up, avoid all of the AoEs as best you can, and nuke it all down. When everything has been defeated, you can move down the ramp and walk into the wind circle at the end of the path. This will whisk you away and cause you to land in the arena where it's final boss time. Luna Piatti will turn to a random party member and cast Raging Claw. This is a multiple fast-hitting 180-degree arena-wide straight-line AoE. You'll need to get behind it to dodge the attack. Failing to do this will give you a hard hit of damage for every claw swipe you get hit by. The boss will move into the middle of the room and cast Leporine Loaf. When the cast ends, it will send out a room-wide AoE that will also create an oily wall around the outside of the arena. Touching this wall will give you a 15-second sludge dot tick. Luna Piatti's claws will begin to glow and it will not move from its spot in the middle of the arena for the following mechanics, which can happen in either order. One mechanic will be 3 spots around the arena that will have arcing red arrows from one spot to another, either on the outside or in the middle. You will need to move to a spot around the arena that will not have any arrows coming from it or going towards it. This is because there will be thick sandworms that will follow each of the arcing arrows. There will be a lingering AoE from where they came from and where they were going to for the duration of the mechanic. Only 3 spots around the arena will be safe for this mechanic, so make sure that you move to a safe spot quickly. Getting hit by any of the sandworm AoEs from when they jump out or burrow back underground will give you a Vol stack, and standing in the lingering AoE will damage you for every tick that you're inside it. The sandworms will repeat, but this time every player will get a point-blank AoE, so you'll need to wait for the sandworms to finish their mechanic before quickly spreading out and avoid overlapping these AoEs. The other mechanic will be 2 sets of 4 glowing lines that will be arcing from the middle of the boss to the outside wall along the floor. You'll need to move to a spot that will have a fair bit of distance in between the first set of glowing lines that appear. After a few seconds, the second set of glowing lines will appear. This is when the first set of lines will have circular AoEs appear on them. The center of each AoE will be following the line all the way to the wall. This is why we dodge in between the lines before they go off. When the first set of AoEs go off, you'll need to move to where they just went off to dodge the next set of AoEs as they travel down the second set of lines. You'll get a Von stack per AoE you get hit by. These double sets of 4 glowing lines will repeat, so dodge away from them as best you can. After these go off, there will be a single spiral glowing line from the boss to the outside wall. You'll need to stand close to the middle of the arena away from the beginning of the line and wait for the AoEs to appear. As they go off and begin moving down the line, quickly move underneath the center of the boss to dodge the rest of the attack. As these mechanics end, Luna Piatti will cast Crater Carve. There will be a circular crack that will appear underneath the boss, and the cracks will get brighter when the cast is about halfway through. You'll need to make sure that you get away from the cracks and get towards the wall. As the cast ends, the boss will jump to the northern end of the arena and explode the cracked area. This will now be a crater in the middle of the arena, which is now a death zone. If you gap close too tightly, fat finger that backflip, or just take a wrong turn, you'll immediately fall into the never-ending pit. As this goes off, the boss will get a debuff called Directional Disregard. This means that all of the positional requirements from melee DPS combos are now ignored. The boss will create a proximity marker at its feet with the cast of Beastly Roar. You'll need to get as far to the opposite side of the arena as possible. As soon as this finishes, there will be a series of AoEs starting from the proximity marker that will travel around the arena within the narrow safe ring until they reach the boss again. So you'll need to make sure that you run back to the boss and away from the AoEs that will be following you as you move. As the AoEs get back to the boss, it will jump to one of the cardinal points against the wall, face the rest of the party, and cast Raging Claw claw again. You'll need to get behind it as fast as you can to avoid the attack. As this is going off, all non-tank players will get a point-blank AoE, so tanks will need to run back through to the other side of the boss as the clawing attack finishes, and everyone else will need to spread out to avoid overlapping the AoEs. As these go off, one player will get a stack marker. Group up to share the damage. Following this will be casts of Sonic Howl, which is a room-wide AoE, and Slabber, which is a tank buster. From here, mechanics will repeat until Lunipyati has been defeated. Congratulations, you have completed Yuweyawata Field Station. My name is The Scrub. Thank you for watching.